What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode with the Firm Podcast. You already know we got Nick in the building.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening?
Listen, I'm Charles, man. We got another episode lined up for you today. We're going to really just get back to the basics of fatherhood, but we're not coming at it with, man, we don't have a whole lot of day-to-day, these questions. We're literally talking about, fathers and fatherhood in pop culture. Yeah. So, You giving them the verse or you ain't gonna drop it?
Nah.
Okay. All right.
I ain't gonna do that, man.
All right. So we got so in pop culture we got Jeezy and his ex Gina Mae. That's his name, right? That's
Jeannie Mai.
Jeannie Mai.
Jeannie Mai.
Yeah, don't get me. I'm a little country and I don't follow them all that closely, right? But they had this like surprise. Basically, it was like a surprise for her anyway. Jeezy went and filed for divorce. Now the story is he has seen his kids and daughter in how long?
I think it's like been only a few times and since the divorce, since filing.
So we talking.
I can't think of the exact.
Over the last maybe 6 months or so, roughly. Seen it.
So it's like eight times in like the last few months.
Right, and so it's a couple of things right there. First, right?
It's some layers to it.
It's some layers to that.
Yeah.
First thing, let's go back to the root of why we even here. In the state of Georgia, if you don't have an order in place,
you don't have no
some
rights.
court guidelines, you don't have no rights. Now, we used to say even if you're married, but there's still nothing making mama let you see the child.
Yeah.
And so as a father, if you get into it with mama and the children are with mama that day, mama is automatically the primary because that's where the kids are at. And ain't nothing you can do except go to court and get you an agreement. Right or wrong?
I mean, you're right. But see, I think almost even that space, when you file for divorce, we should already kind of get in court. It should be expedited. Because now we need to go and get some plan in place.
But here's the thing. That process is not expedited by divorce, though. Jeezy would have had to have been a visionary to say, okay, listen, I want you to file my divorce papers, but I need you at the same time in family court, making sure I got an agreement.
Yeah.
So even with the money and the access, if you ain't playing chess, you're gonna still be in a situation where you ain't seeing your kids.
Yeah, but I think what makes it hard though is when I think they don't do it because I think you think, okay, we should be good. You know what I'm saying? Because we were married. So they kind of know who I am and how I move. But then when we get a divorce, now it becomes like we enemies. And we don't have to be enemies all the way across, but we just can't work together.
Yeah, we don't see how that.
Don't mean we're bad parents. So I think maybe that's how they go into it, looking at it. And I think that's what messes a lot of us up in that situation. We don't look at a plan. We punish you. We talked about it before. Some people loop everything into categories. If you wasn't good, if we don't work as a husband and wife, you're a bad father, you can't see your kid, this, that, and the third, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
Just because I was a bad husband does not mean I'm a bad father. And I know that rubs some people the wrong way. I know it does.
I'm gonna take this approach to it. Jeezy messed up.
How you messed up?
Hell have no fury like a woman scorned.
But yeah, he does. Yeah, he messed up.
Hey,
but you know
boy,
what?
Everything you thought she wouldn't do, all of the good you thought about her, you forgot. When you jumped out here and filed for divorce, you publicly embarrassed her. You embarrassed her in front of her family. You really didn't give her the opportunity. It ain't like he served her, but y'all in celebrity status. So y'all should have really came to the table, hey, I need you to meet me at the courthouse or meet me at the lawyers on this day and serve her the papers there. But you went and filed for divorce, which means she probably was served, but once it hit public record, the world knew about it.
Yeah, but see, it goes like this. Honestly, I wouldn't win either way. Because if I serve you privately, it's going to be a problem. If I serve you publicly, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem because I no longer want to be here. But if you don't want to be here, I need to understand that. And that's why I say again, that's the beauty of I love being a girl dad. Because see, I would intervene into that one. Because certain things, we ain't keeping this man away from his child. I don't care what y'all going through. If he was good enough to make a child with him, he good enough to see his kid. Period.
Okay, but it's two sides to that. Watch this. Maybe she don't have enough people in her corner, in her family, telling her the right thing. Or maybe they looking at it like, you ain't got to do nothing for him. He hurt you. What I will say to that is, they not thinking about the children because I'm certain that baby want to see her dad.
She want to see her dad. But again, we just didn't work. that kid that's still their dad. You know what I'm saying? That's even like, even if it's me, I'm not gonna do that to my kids, keep them away from their mom or you know, because that's their mother.
Yeah.
That's still a important figure in that child's life. Regardless how you feel about it, you could think he's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
He still deserves the right to see his kid. And who's the hell to say you're the person to keep them away? Because I can promise you this, you coming out saying he had guns around the kid, this, that, and the third. I ain't saying he did or he didn't. But I can promise you saw some of the same stuff was going on then when you were with him, but you ain't have a problem then. If it's a problem now, it should have been a problem then.
Hey.
Because it's certain flaws in you too.
Boys in the Hood was out before they got together. I'm just keeping it real.
Well, I mean, but I ain't gonna never be down, bro, with nobody not seeing their kid.
No,
I don't care for circumstance. I don't care if it's the man with custody or the mom with custody. That person deserves the right to be in their kid's life.
I agree
and again,
with that.
if you keep them away, I want you to be the same person, stand up and tell them, hey, I kept you away from your dad or your mom. This is why I did it. Don't try to clean it up. Hey, my personal feeling, your daddy divorced me or your mom left me and I didn't want you to see him because I was hurt, so I wanted to make them suffer. And you stand on that.
So here's the lesson then. Let's take the lesson, because we talked about this, the lessons that everybody else need to learn. If a millionaire can be put in a situation where they don't have access to their kids because they didn't make the right necessary plays. Now again, we're not saying that I'm not saying she's right. What I'm saying is Jeezy assumed that she wouldn't do that. And he messed up, because what should have happened is simultaneously with that divorce paperwork, should have been some paperwork in family court.
Yeah.
And if it is something that we don't know about and there's some expediting, you know, maybe we just don't know about it. But I believe, and all of this is with the assumption that he even really want to be with the baby. I ain't shooting no shots at nobody, but I feel like Tom Brady played forever because, well, he went home on all season, all them kids was in the house, and he realized what being a daddy was about. That boy hurry up and ran back to them workouts.
So I'm not
we assume. Let me get on somebody's roster.
Yeah.
We assuming Jeezy want to be a dad full time. I'm not saying he not.
I mean, we're just assuming, and I think the biggest thing we're speaking about, and this ain't even about Jeezy or whoever, it's really more about keeping that child away from that parent.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves the opportunity to be a parent. Now, if he or she's done something that's totally unfit, that's a court situation. But sometimes we're punishing you based upon my personal decisions. Oh, I don't think you fit. Who the hell say you think? Who are you? Because I may not think you're fit.
Yeah.
You know, so he deserves the right to see his kid, especially if he wants to see his kid. Anybody does. That's just my stance. I don't think you should take a child away from a kid, regardless of the circumstance, unless you just know, hey, this is truly detrimental to the child. And if you know that, okay, let's legally handle that in a certain manner too, to make sure we solidify, hey, you can't be around the child, or I'm gonna put certain parameters in place to assure the safety of this child. Now it sounds like more like, again, personal stuff. Because if you knew, hey, let me use what's been out there. If you say guns and all this stuff right here, why don't we go to court about this? Because if I feel like I'm so worried about my child's safety, I ain't thought about doing it this way. Seems like it's your personal feelings. Because again, it keeps coming back saying like, well, hey, it was a shock. I think some of the hurt is in there. But again, I'm going to say it again. As a girl dad, I just couldn't let my daughters do that. Because I got to show up still and say, baby, hey, y'all divorce ain't got nothing to do with this.
So if you, okay, now, we got that side of it, and nobody should keep their child away, but if you was Jeezy, if you were a father situation and Jeezy was your son, when you knew he was thinking about filing for divorce, what would you tell him?
If it's my son, I told him, son, you need to put a plan in place to see your child.
Okay, thank you. That's all I'm saying.
You got to put a plan in place to see your child. And I would also encourage my son, hey, you don't stop fighting. You reach out, you make your ask. You know what I'm saying? You ask, you keep fighting. But you go and work on getting a plan in place. Because the same way, you may have to go away for a little while to regroup, to come back at it. It may mean, okay, hey, I ain't gonna see my daughter for the next 2 months to go and get everything legally situated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those 2 months is a small sacrifice to get everything solidified. So once I get it solidified, now I'm gonna come back into that space because I got some paperwork that protects me and also protects you. You know what I'm saying? But also some paperwork that keeps me in line and it keeps you in line. Because I don't have time to get on your roller coaster. Oh, I can see him because you want to go out, you want to go to Houston, you want to go to Miami, you want to get away. Now I can see him. Now I'm a good enough parent. Them weekends you want to be free. You know, so I want something that holds me accountable and holds you accountable. So that's what I would, if I'm his dad. But again, if I'm her dad, hey, you got a kid with him. He deserves to see his kid. I know you hurt. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's a category. Baby, put that in this category. Because that daughter deserves to see her father.
And not just deserves, she needs that.
Yeah, that's her dad.
She needs
That's
that.
her dad. I don't care what you want to change. When you laid down and you made the baby with him, it's a chance it could work or it couldn't work. But that's still her father. It ain't your place to talk about it. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? It ain't never a place for one parent to bash another parent. It's just not. That's your father, that's your mother.
I think even in the prenup, you need to put in the prenup.
But see, we don't think about that.
In the event of a separation, this is what happens. In the event of a divorce, this is what happens. Because if you don't do it on good terms, on bad terms, it's gonna be worse.
It won't matter. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be already there. We're gonna keep that in there. Might as well just let Trey talk from our camera. Yeah. We definitely need to make sure it's there. So let's talk about this then. That's one situation. If you a father, let's say now, switching gears a little bit, you a father, your child has experienced a great deal of success, let's call it in the rap industry, and now you watching them endure the longest trial in Georgia history. Now we're talking about the perspective of Young Thug's father. You having to watch your child go through all of this, that's happening, and the court procedures and the documents. Your thoughts and perspective. How you feel about that? Because I got in my mind.
I got a few ways to look at it. I'm mixed.
Yeah.
Because I think in the same breath, and I'm not saying nobody's guilty or innocent, but if my child's done some of the things they said my child's done, he got to stand on that. Because I can't say I'm for right, but I'm only for right when it doesn't hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my child is a menace to this community or to society, they're a menace. And they just have to, that comes with what you've done. I think so. I stand from a different lens. Like, I'm not ever going to be that parent that's going to condone wrong for my children. If you've done wrong, you have to deal with the consequences that came from your actions.
Yeah.
Because I raised you a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then even as a father, I look at this, I'm like, somewhere I missed something. Or I glorified something, you know what I'm saying, that ain't really cool. I made it like it was cool because maybe the example I was living a certain way, so my son thought this was how you should move. Because even like me, you could have caught some of this stuff early. Because if you start to see Blake carrying guns, you find he got a gun, you feel to nip that in the butt real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you start to see certain signs he being disrespectful, you ain't just to let that build up. So the snowball effect. But I think it's hard to watch your kid go through that. I do. I think it's still your kid. Like, it's still hard to watch your kid go through that. So I think from that end, you like, that's a lot to take on your plate. But if my kid is done what y'all say he's done, we got to deal with it, bro. That's consequence for your actions.
And that's unpopular opinion. Too many people ain't doing that.
They not.
Most people not taking that road and that approach to it. That's unpopular opinion. The thing that I'm looking at it from a couple of different lenses. One, if I'm daddy, yeah, it's stuff that I could have saw early on. Hey, at the end of the day, I always talk about it. If you did it, you did it. Mm-hmm. What I don't like about the process is this. We always holler innocent until proven guilty. But then typically when we see a black man, they basically are guilty at arrest. Mm. So the fact that he's spending so much time in the county jail through a trial process, when there are people that have commit other crimes, like at no point of any of his charges are there, you held the gun and killed somebody. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so technically we're talking about him in the same context that we be talking about a mafia family. Mm-hmm. Folks fight this from the street. But we watching these folks spend this amount of time incarcerated in a county jail as they go through trial every day. I think that there's some issues there with it. But if I'm a daddy, if I'm watching this, I don't really know how to say, because I feel like there are kids and incidents where they get so good at doing what they doing that they hide it to a certain level. But I think, to your point, from a moral perspective, if you did it, you did it. Now, as your dad, I'm always gonna be in your corner. Sometimes I can't be there for you. Mm-hmm. Like I can't stand on that because that's not what I agree with. But I'm still wanting the best for you. I still want you to come out on top. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna be the first one to say, hey boy, my son did, boy, give him the 10. I don't want to see him do the 10. But at the same time, I don't want him to be a terrorist. I don't need him to be a domestic terrorist. Mm-hmm. Now, all of this is the assumption that, hey, this is what they said. I know we got, they got to prove this, that, and the third. And I don't know. I'm a little bothered and perturbed by the fact that this is becoming bigger and bigger. It's more of a spectacle than it is really about justice.
Every week.
Right? It's really more like to me, it seemed like a bigger and bigger like, but we gonna show y'all. We gonna get the rappers. When it ain't really even about justice no more. With that being said, what if you were the father of Fonnie Willis? I just thought about that. That was the same situation. Her dad had to come up and testify on her behalf. So because she went after, 45, she went after 45 and all his folks in the election. Then they came back and questioned her sleeping with somebody. And whether or not that was, basically they said, hey, because you will cheat, right? Which is the same thing that they'll do to a man in fatherhood. Because you will cheat or have a side piece, then you also will not be a good lawyer and you will do your job without integrity.
No, I ain't got nothing to say about it. I ain't got nothing to say.
Man, listen,
I don't have nothing to say about that one.
Because
I don't even think you should have been on the stand for that.
I say this. But her daddy came up there and stood up for her. Her daddy gave a comment. He gave his statement. I've been told my baby to carry cash. That's basically what he said. I told my baby to carry, because they were questioning why she even carried so much money. That was almost like racist in and of itself. You carry all this money, so you automatically a bad person.
Next one I want to do is OJ.
Okay.
Because it's coming off the Young Thug and all the court cases. So just talk about OJ and his case.
Okay.
And how even if you get off, how they will treat your child. Because I think OJ child committed suicide, didn't he?
I don't know. I need to look it up.
Either he committed suicide or he tried to. Because they started saying he did the killing.
They said OJ did the killing?
son. They were saying the son did the killing.
Oh.
And dad took the rap.
Covering for him.
Yeah.
So even though OJ got off, they still did his kids. So I kind of want to wrap all of that into OJ dying, the legacy, how they treat him even though he got off.
Okay.
And then the son angle.
Okay. So
we're gonna paint today.
Yeah, let's paint. Let's paint. I'm with it, man. Give me the brush. Yeah, man. So we coming out of this situation. We talking about, what now thinking about how this justice system, right? You got Young Thug's father. He going through that. What about the black man when he goes through the justice system and is found not guilty? Again, we will say a person is innocent until proven guilty, right? There's laws to protect me that once you find me not guilty, you can't keep trying me on the same thing. But that does nothing for the public court of opinion, right? Prime case in point, rest in peace to the Juice, right? And we ain't talking about the Juice Man. We ain't talking about rap right now. Listen, man. We're talking about Orenthal Simpson. That's who we're talking about. O.J. Simpson, right? O.J. Simpson probably had, outside of like Rodney King, he probably had one of the most famous watched cases of the 90s in probably in American history, right? Outside of like probably, Al Capone or somebody. But people watch this case, they follow the details, they watch the chase, and then they followed it all the way to if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. But then after OJ was found not guilty in the court of law, he was crucified publicly. So much so that it began to impact his kids. If we got the facts straight, his son committed suicide because they then turned the narrative and say, well, it's almost like we didn't get OJ, we got to blame somebody. Oh, OJ didn't do it, but he covered up for his son who did it and drove his son to kill himself. Black man can't even get, if he get found not guilty, he's still guilty in the public court of opinion.
But again, it's like we talked about it on the previous episode, like our margin for error is slim to none.
Slim to none for the black man.
And I mean, even as fathers, we have to be mindful of our actions because sometimes our actions do affect our kids.
Yeah, but your actions affect your kids. But if you make a mistake, should your kids have to suffer for it?
They shouldn't, but we know it's probably going to happen depending on who their father is. They should not by no means.
Okay.
But again, if it's a public figure, your kids are going to suffer because of your actions. They're going to.
But it's almost like making this fictitious world that where a person not gonna make a mistake.
They're not gonna make a mistake, bro, but it's like you just got too much to lose. And I think you have to move in a different space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, cause even like with me, I ain't no public figure, but I mean, not a celebrity, but sometimes even in the city, I become a public figure.
You
Cause like
represent
sometimes like with
the
my
entity.
role, I just see myself as Nick.
Yeah.
But some people just seem like, hey man, that's that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, he can, hey man, that's somebody you need to know.
Yeah.
So within that, I am mindful of how I move because I know certain things can affect the people around me. And I'm not, I'm not famous, but I just move in a different manner because I know too, you got a different target on your back. And that can affect your kids. Probably even like you think of some of the work you do, like your name hold weight. And then some of that, it can affect your kids.
Yeah. If nothing else, it affect their livelihood.
It can. It affects their livelihood, but it affects them too because, they just like their dad or this, that, and the third. So, I mean, I ain't saying it's got to, but it's going to. It's going to affect them.
So listen, here go another point about that, right? We think about OJ, and yeah, he was found not guilty. They tried to take all of his accolades away from it because of it. It's like, we couldn't get you here, we're gonna get you in this space. We'll take all your accolades away. It's a whole controversial story about him trying to go back and steal his stuff back. But there's also some part of the narrative that he was told to come to a certain place. And then he was arrested and did time for that. So we couldn't get you the first time. We're going to get you. And then, now, even after he's dead, people are posting pictures that they took with him to say good riddance to him. Like, what type of place is it where you will still, even after a person is dead, like, we don't even think again, we talked about this a little bit earlier offline, you don't even think that his children, his legacy that's left, will see you saying all of this negative stuff about him, even after the man is gone.
But see, I'm still of the old school notion of if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
That don't apply to most people.
That's just me though. That's why I say I don't. If it ain't got, because I'm not gonna do that to somebody's child.
Yeah.
Because even in my world, the actions of, even though it should not be, the actions of that father don't represent them. That's something separate.
That's two separate things.
That's two separate things.
All right.
So it should not represent them. So that's how I look at it too. And I believe in protecting somebody's kids, man, because they didn't have nothing to do with that, bro.
Okay, so what about this? Who protected Meek Mill kid with all these rumors coming out about him and Diddy? Because that's the first thing they saying now. They talking about how his kids are taking it. His kids are being harassed at school. All the kids in the school saying, your daddy this, and feel it. The reputation is switching. And people's kids are taking, Meek Mill is in a situation financially where he don't really have to deal with a certain group of people.
Yeah.
But it's his kids that got to be exposed to the meanness of other children. Based on these comments.
Again, though, bro, you gotta be mindful of your acts, man. Your actions, man.
I don't know what he did or didn't do.
It's a cruel world. I mean, I'm not speaking about what he did. I'm just saying, like, in the sense of whatever you do, you just got to be mindful of the backlash that may come. You truly have to protect those people that are in your space. Especially even as you go up, because the public embarrassment is real, bro. They looking for anything connected to you to attach to that situation. Even if the kids didn't have nothing to do with it, they'll feel like it was him. So, I mean, just being mindful of that, bro, because I think we don't think about, again, our actions, man. Our actions don't just impact us, they impact everybody around us.
I say it like this, and I move with it. I think my father-in-law always says like this: if you really knew better, you would do better. And what that statement allows you to understand is, if there was anywhere, if you did something, yeah, you might know that this could happen, but if you really knew that this would happen, you wouldn't do it, because this would be the fallout of it. The fallout would be your kids, this, that, and the third. Your reputation would be attacked. The scrutiny you would have to endure. But if you really knew it, you wouldn't have done it. And so I think that's that piece for grace. I'm gonna kick it one more. We got Juan Carlos. That's my man.
So I got that one, and then I got Brian McKnight. So I might as well tell y'all about the Brian McKnight one now, so we don't have to break it again. So Brian McKnight disowned his kid, his first set of kids.
Wow.
Sound like Corey Holcomb.
So he got first set of kids that's named after him.
Yeah. Really?
Named Brian McKnight
Brian McKnight Jr.
So I guess when he got divorced, he felt like the mama turned the kids against him. So he just stopped fucking with kids completely.
Yeah.
Then he would have some more kids and rename them Brian McKnight Jr. and whatever the daughter name.
Yeah.
And so now it came out again because the ex-wife finally spoke out and basically started quoting the Bible. He was like, those kids are product of sin, so anything the Bible says about your children don't apply to them.
Mm.
Yeah, that boy cold, man. But them R&B boy, them R&B. We talking about these rap folks, them R&B folks be different, boy.
Different.
Yeah, they definitely different.
So y'all can do both of those, and I think we'll be able to rap after that. Y'all can do what y'all want to do first.
Cool, man. I'm gonna jump into Juan Carlos, man. So, I saw something this week. They were talking about this Breaking Bad. They were talking about my man Juan Carlos, which, I'm gonna give him a shameless plug. Y'all come give us a check now. They got a new song, The Gentleman he in. But The Gentleman is cold. It might be on Netflix. Y'all check that out and get a chance. Anyway, Juan Carlos this week talking about Breaking Bad, but he was talking about the success of Breaking Bad. That right before that moment, right before the success of Breaking Bad, he was contemplating suicide so that his children could get the life insurance. Now, what I found to be so kind of like, I don't want to say prophetic, but the whole thing about that was this. We talked once before about, maybe last episode, about the most difficult thing you've been through as a man and as a father. And there's no more really kind of point of life where you question your own worth and value than when you just really can't provide for your kids. And so I'm sure in that moment he was like, man, if I just kill myself, they'll get this life. If nothing else, I can get him some life insurance. I can walk into the sunset. I would have done what I was supposed to do. What's your thoughts on that?
I think every father gets to that point. Sometimes you question, one, like we talked about before, are you good enough and are you doing a good job? So I think maybe his mindset was just more like, again, I can at least do something right. I can leave them, like you said, leave them with something here so they can at least have something to provide. So I'll leave them with something positive. My thoughts on it, I think every father's had times where he thought like, man, maybe my kids would be better off without me. Not necessarily taking your life, but just saying like, hey, I'm just going to walk away or give up. Because through this journey, it does get hard. It does get hard. And if you've got a space to where you can't provide, that adds for a man, it adds a whole nother level of stress and pressure to your situation.
Yeah.
Because when I can't provide, now it's funny when I can't provide, I feel like I'm no good in no other space. But if I'm in a space where I can provide, I don't even think about if I'm good in no space because I can provide. And it's sad that we even equate money with being a good father, because that's really what it's about, the financial side. But I think I just look at it differently, bro. I think now being in a space where I just understand I got to be here, and I work everything else out, bro. I'm not gonna remove myself from this place or this planet to just give them some insurance money. Yeah. I'm not, bro. Because I just feel like it's all gonna balance out. But I do sympathize and understand the mindset too. Yeah. Because again, I think every man has been there at some point. Whether, like, again, it may not be taking your life, but it may be saying, I'm just gonna remove myself from this situation. They better off without me. Yeah. Because again, we struggle. But I just know, man, right now, my purpose is my kids need their father. Because I couldn't, again, go back to fears. I cannot imagine my kids being in this world without me being here with them, to guide them, and them knowing they could pick the phone up or just pull up on me or whatever to help them through whatever it is they're going through. Because I think they need their father. That's their first line of protection, so I got to be here. I got to be here.
And I feel like this is one of them situations where when when life is pretty solid, you can make clear statements. Yeah. You can think clearly. Yeah. You can plan clearly. You know what I mean? You can think from a rational place. When your world upside down, ain't nothing really you can think about, right? You really just trying to say, okay, what value can I add? And not to go too far on this, but if memory serves me correctly, that was some of the points around Aaron Hernandez. Like even him committing suicide in prison wasn't about him, being afraid to live in prison because, you listen to all the stories, he ain't never been wrapped too tight. They say he was in football practice, folks in cleats and helmets, he out there barefoot. Like he always, so it wasn't about being afraid. But he literally, I think in that note was talking about if I kill myself in prison, my children will get the inheritance. And it speaks to the selflessness of fatherhood, of parenting. Yeah. Like, as dads, there are countless stories of a dad sleeping on the floor so their kids can be good. You know what I mean? Or like we'll work 2 and 3 jobs. We'll do what we need to do. It's a daddy driving home right now somewhere, probably been on like 2 hours of sleep in the last 3 days. But he's just trying to make it back to Monday to do what needs to be done for his children so that he can provide. That's not discrediting mamas and any of that, but what I'm saying is for a man to be at his lowest point in his life and to say, well, at least if I kill myself, they'll get the insurance money. And I'm going to be truthful. I believe in the black community, more lives have been saved by that narrative. Let me tell you why. You know how we like to talk in the black community? We'll say stuff like, well, you know they got that suicide clause in the life insurance policy. If you kill yourself, they don't get the money.
But that's why he was plotting on how he was gonna get somebody to murder.
He was thinking about, exactly, he was thinking about the plot because the real reason he didn't go through with it is the suicide clause. If I kill myself, they don't touch the money.
Yeah.
If I kill myself, they don't touch the money. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. What you got
just
for?
Going back in there though too, it's like even you said like some fathers. I remember, man. I think I came fresh out of college, so I was working at a private school, and I met this dad, and I think the story just still sticks with me about like sacrifices. He was saying like he went to a point where he was struggling. He had lost his job, but he found like a decent job, just kind of. But they lost it. He had a decent job. He found like a decent one. It wasn't what he was previously making, but it just was enough. But he said they lost their home in the midst of the process. Dad said, man, he's taken to the hotel to get two beds in there. So they had 3 kids. He said, bro, he slept in the car so the kids could have their own bed, 2 of them, and mom and the other child could have another bed. And he would just like eat a Snicker bar every day, man. That was his lunch and dinner. But he just made sure they ate.
We gonna do that.
But it's like, bro, like you just slept in the car, bro.
Yeah.
And people don't see that, man, the sacrifice that men will go through for their family, man. Because I think in our DNA, it's just we want to take care of our children and our family, man. We really do. By any means necessary.
Man, I'm tell you something. My wife sometimes think I'm crazy right now. And it's a real small thing. But I can't go to sleep. Everybody sleep.
Yeah.
Like it's real. It's almost like I need to see the house shut down. So until everybody comfortable, I can't go. Like until everybody good, I can't go to sleep. Sometimes if it's storming real bad, yeah, that rain. But if like it's storming real bad, man, I'm on watch.
Yeah.
Somebody got to be ready to make a move when something take place. I'm on watch. Like that's just.
See, you can't go to sleep and I have to touch every doorknob in the house. I got to touch it.
Yeah, I don't trust.
I got to physically touch
I
every
lock the
door.
cars.
Yes.
I make sure the door's locked.
Yes.
That's my thing. And then when I'm out of town and traveling on the road, I call my wife and say, "Hey, everything locked?"
Yeah.
Now, she raising children. She full well capable. It ain't about capability. It's about my peace of mind.
But again, if something happens, you feel like you're accountable, whether I'm there or not.
Yeah.
There. But I at least need to call and say, okay. And because if something happens, you say, damn, I didn't call and tell her she locked the door. I ain't tell her to go do this. Again, you got to take care of your family, bro.
That's what you got to do.
You have to.
You got something for Mr. Back at One? Mr. Back at One.
Brian McKnight.
Hey, man.
Nah, we were just talking offline about the Brian McKnight situation where I guess, I'm just going to paint it like this. The situation just got so bad, you just want to say the hell with them. To everybody. That's just the clean way of putting it. Like, it just got to the point where it's like, okay, man, I'm done with all that.
I'm going to take the other side of that. To me, it sounds like the very thing we trying to raise our daughters not to be, he became emotional vigilante.
I agree.
You cut off your seed, basically because your feelings were hurt by a situation. That's basically what happened.
I agree. I don't agree with Brian's actions at all, because I think when your kids get to a certain point, they're adults. Bro, I don't have to deal with you. Not saying I don't have to deal with you like that, but I'm still your dad. I ain't gonna disrespect you. I'm here.
Yeah.
But we ain't in the same house no more. Like, we may not talk as much. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to turn my back on you and treat you as if like you were nothing or you never existed.
I was about to say, forget nothing. He acted like they never existed.
I just can't do that. Because again, I think as a father or as a leader, I have to see, okay, this gonna work out.
Yeah.
This gonna pan out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my kid just, they in their feelings right now, they going through what they going through. Maybe their mom told them something about me. But at some point, they old enough. You wanna have that real conversation? Because you want to know how we even get here. Because sometimes you want to hear a lens from what somebody else has told you. Now, I may not speak on that lens when you younger, but when you get of age and you're a man, you want to ask me questions, you want to do certain things, let's have a real conversation. And since you got some of the information, let me give you my side of the story too.
Yeah.
And maybe you might look at some things different and say, oh, wow. You know, but
you went through all that?
Yeah, because sometimes they don't know, and sometimes too, that's a hard part for a man. That everybody else get to tell their story, but if I ever tell my story,
you're sassy.
It's an issue.
No,
You sassy. I'm a sassy man. See, we probably can even talk about that. I'm a sassy man because I want to tell my side, but it's okay as long as everybody bashes me.
Yeah.
It's okay. I don't never need to speak on my side, and that's why I'm big on like I don't believe in bashing either side.
Cause we don't know.
You don't know.
We don't know the facts.
But if you tell the truth, You don't really want to hear that side.
I ain't gonna say bashing, but here's what I will say. I believe the more and more I understand about parenting and fatherhood, my greatest value comes from for being an example for my children in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
It's easy, I ain't gonna say it's easy, but it's easier to parent when everything is right. But my greatest source of value is to show them how, because it's a guarantee that as long as they are living and have breath in their body, they're gonna have to go through something.
Yeah.
What can I demonstrate and be an example to so that they know, well, my kid said something the other day, kind of make you feel good. You know how your kids be like, nah, my dad'll get your daddy. No, your daddy, you know what I'm saying? Your dad's Superman. But I say, man, don't nothing hurt daddy. You ain't hurt his feelings, but you ain't gonna hurt daddy. That made me feel good. No, good and well. Now you can go ahead and get a gun, but you ain't got me. Daddy, I'm hurt. But the fact is that I've shown them, we've talked about difficult moments. Hey, boy, we just got to keep pushing. We can't fold. My famous phrase, I use it all the time. You gonna barbecue a meal, do. That's the replacement for you gonna shit to get off the pot.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
Life gonna happen. It's gonna be hard. You gonna fold and give up on it? And so to my point is when a man walk away, you act like your kids never existed. Again, my greatest fear, he deprived them of a life lesson he should have taught them. There was so much he could have taught his kids. From the divorce, from the narrative that was being painted against him. That was all one big, God-given gift for him to be the greatest father ever. Even if he couldn't be it in the moment, he could have wrote it down in journal. Hell, he could have made a song about it. You Brian McKnight.
Yeah.
You could have made a whole album, sold some millions, and then gave it to them later as a gift and say, boy, y'all listen to this album because I really was talking to y'all.
Yeah.
But instead, you ran away. You really ran and hid your tail and acted like it never happened. Yeah. Maybe you were hurt or you were trying to be vindictive. I don't care what you did. You just can't get no respect in my book.
You can't.
I can give you grace and say, hey, everybody go through something, but you can't get in my book, big dog. I ain't even got to.
I agree. I think with fatherhood and difficult moments, man, what I was telling the dad is like, you have to trust the process.
Yeah.
And that's what we struggle with, trusting the process, because it's so hard when you're being slandered or this image of being painted you and your kids are showing up, maybe they disrespecting you or they say something crazy to you and you don't know how to deal with that because you just hear, I'm getting bashed. I'm from this side, from that side, I'm just getting bashed and I'm just taking it. And kids looking like, yeah, he don't say nothing because it's the truth.
It's true. Because that's what mama told me.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. But see, even as a man, and when you tap into that top level of manhood, it's like, okay, bro, I just got to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I got to understand it's a marathon. Because I think when that truth comes out, wow, like dad just different. Like, but my dad showed up even despite what these people had done to him. Because again, it's hard. And I think some dads need to hear that because man, you know how many dads have just lost it because they tired of the narratives painted about them? So I can understand that too because, hell, if I'm trying and you keep bashing me, y'all all on Facebook, Instagram talking crazy about me, I can't never say nothing. And if I do say something, it's a problem. If I don't say something, it's a problem. I can't win for losing. And then my kids don't want to spend time with my kids disrespectful because of, oh yeah, mama say you this. Mama said, you ain't never got no money. But mama didn't tell you that, dang, I've been paying child support for all these years. But ain't nobody telling you what I do.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but I think you just you can't give up, bro. You really have to see this light at the end of the tunnel, man. And I think, too, that's where it requires you, to tap into, that's where that spirituality and things like that come in, bro. Because you got to find a way, boy, to keep it balanced, man. Because you can lose it, man. You really can lose it out here. And I think even to mothers, they need to hear, like, men have feelings. I always say like this, like the old people have this phrase where they'll say, you say, it'll come out in the wash. And that's what I kind of believe with parenthood. Like, you ain't got to bash mom or dad. Kids got eyes. They'll see certain things. And that's going to speak louder than anything you've ever done. Because if I've never bashed the other parent, but now they see, oh, no, man, they ain't what I thought they were. Boom. I guess it enhances my credibility because like, wow, you never bashed them. And you could have. And it would have been justified, but you never did. Because I can't bash, let me use me. I couldn't bash my kids' mothers ever. I don't care what they did to me. I can't do it. I may have some feelings about something, but I can't bash them to my kids. I cannot, bro.
Which got a lot to do with, in all fairness, got a lot to do with how you were raised. the person who raised you, and the people that were around you growing up. And what I mean by that is you were raised by your mom. So you got strong feelings. Whereas if another brother may not have that same level of respect, which here's what I think about it in that same space. I don't think you should bash somebody. But again, I think, bro, that's the reality. And so even if you were the father being bashed, you the mama being bashed, you could use that as an opportunity to teach your kids that, first of all, you can't please everybody. Get off that now. You ain't gonna be able to please everybody. Get off that now. Prepare them for all the negative talk that's coming. You know what I mean? Help them develop that callous skin. You don't develop your child's calluses by downing them and cursing them out. You develop that by explaining to them, helping them develop socially so that they understand, hey, boy, the world is a crazy place. People will say all types of things to you. You got to let that roll off your back like water and keep it pushing. They don't need you to bash them. They need you to hold them, love them, and support them. But they also need you to tell them the truth, which is where I disagree. You know, if you only baby your kid and you never let them expose, Don Staley talked about this, right? Some of parents' biggest problems is we won't let our children fail. And by not letting them fail, they've never felt not success. They've never known what it feels like to be rejected. They've never known failure. And the first time it happens later in life, it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
They lose one job offer. They lose a game. They go to some, oh my God, or one bad relationship. Are you 20 years old? You got a bad relationship. Now you ready to jump off the side of the bridge. I'm not discrediting your feelings, but I'm also saying that you've never failed in life because you don't know what failure feels like. And this feels catastrophic, but it really ain't that bad.
No, I agree 100%.
It really ain't that
but
bad.
that's why even like with my parenting, I tell people like I let my kids figure it out to a certain point. Because somewhere I got to see what you going to do. Are you going to fold? Or are you going to try to figure it out? Because through that adversity does build character. Because again, life going to throw you a lot of curveballs, bro. How you going to stand up to it? Are you going to stay in the plate or you just going to tuck your tail and run and try to hide? No, you got to stand up.
Yeah.
You got to stand on some level of business and understand, okay, it's just a process. And I'm trusting this process and everything is going to work out.
Yeah.
But I just think, again, man, we don't build our kids tough enough. We don't build them tough enough. We want to come in and save. That superhero mindset. I'm going to come in there and save you because I'm
pick 'em up.
No. Get up.
Yeah.
Get up, man. You deal with that.
Until you can't, because you sitting outside the ring when they get knocked down. You said stand up. So you made me think about it. You might be a point where you just watch them get knocked down. Ain't nothing you can do.
Well, sometimes
You know David Hayden dad might want to pick him up, but ain't nothing he can do. Ryan wouldn't stop beating him up.
You get knocked down, but did that come from preparation? Well, you prepared.
There's a conversation to be had.
For the battle. But when you prepared for the battle, you just felt like, hey, I'm going to show up.
There's a conversation to be had there. I also taught you, also a conversation and a life lesson. Like, it's one thing to be confident. It's a whole nother thing to just overdo it.
Yeah.
To overdo it.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm not knocking Devin for his confidence. I applaud it. But something happened. There was a gap either in the preparation. There was a gap in what he thought Ryan was capable of. Hey man, Ryan came to go to work.
Let me tell you something like this. You always got to respect your opponent, bro. Just always, point blank. He's a professional like you're a professional.
Yeah.
You got to respect your opponent. Even me and Amara talked about something the other week. We were talking about the spelling bee or something. I said, just like you wanted to win it, somebody else wanted to win it. You got to go in there prepared and be locked in, ready to go. Don't take nobody for granted because the person you take for granted going to be the one that's going to mess around and win it. You know, she did well. She ain't win, but she like, Dad, I gave her. Okay, cool, that's all I asked for.
And that's all
you asked for.
Listen, man. I talk about that all the time. I got dancers. I got these folks. My children playing some instrument. They dancing. They playing sports. If you don't win the championship and you're not exhausted when you leave the field or the court, did you give it everything you had?
Yeah.
And that's where you got to be upset with yourself. If you don't win, and you walk away and still got energy, like one of the things, this is my pet peeve, y'all. I'm working on this. This is my area, my growing edge. I can't stand to see one of my kids lose a game and then the whole team be over there just goofing off after the game. Y'all don't even care y'all lost. Like, y'all, we done came here and stunk the joint up, made errors, and we don't even care. That's my growing edge. And my wife would say, hey. I say, no, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's just me. So I'm working on that. But if you gave it everything you had and you lost, hey man, get back to the drawing board. Lessons come. That's just what that is. It's a lesson.
Let's get back ready.
Let's get back ready.
Lock in and get ready for the next run. Say you're growing edge, but boy, say you can't be out here celebrating, bro. We done lost, man.
Yeah, man. I don't want to see y'all crying
either.
either.
You want coach? Yeah, hey man, we fit to practice. Hey man,
Yeah.
we'll see y'all later. We fit to practice.
Y'all gonna give me 5 real quick. I'm with the coach.
Yeah.
Coach, I go get some water. Go on put them on some laps out there. We good.
Let's go.
They like, game just ended. Nah, go on give them 5, coach. They need to do something. I get the water.
But see, again, we're old school parents, bro. We just believe in sometimes those lessons prepare your child, I guess.
That's a character building moment.
Yes.
Because here's the other thing that I'm not okay with. You making it okay to lose. I'm not saying losses don't happen, but I don't want to condition you to be okay with the loss.
Oh.
Right? So I give you another example. You know, Alexandria, hey, I said your name, now I got to tell her I said her name because she don't really like it when I talk about her. They want her to be the captain of a dance squad. She don't really like that smoke.
She want that limelight.
But I'm trying to prepare you because it's going to be other hard situations in your life. This is an opportunity to learn, make mistakes now when the stakes are not high. Go be bad at leadership now as a dance captain. Ain't nobody's job on the line. Your livelihood is not on the line. But you can learn some stuff now that's going to position you to be a good CEO, a good manager, whatever the case may be. But learn now when the stakes are not high. The other part about it is stop running from stuff you're afraid to do.